Hello, everyone. I hope that you are all ready for another Oxygen XML live event. My name is Alim Belu, and as usual, I will be your host for today's live webinar titled Comparing and Merging Documents in a Browser Using Oxygen Web Author. Now, let me begin by telling you what exactly is Oxygen XML Web Author. Well, you should know that Web Author is our tool that takes advantage of the state-of-the-art Oxygen authoring technology to bring XML editing and reviewing to any modern web browser. You can collaborate with other members of your team to contribute, modify, and compare content from anywhere on desktops, tablets, and mobile devices. The adaptive and innovative user interface is designed to allow you to interact with XML content in the most efficient and productive way possible. Now, my colleague Mihai Kwanda, software developer at Synchrosoft, created today's event with a focus on one of the most common parts of documentation workflows: comparing and merging documents. Now, the possibility to compare and merge them in a browser allows you or other reviewers to see what was changed without the headache of needing to install a separate tool. So, for you to get accustomed to this efficient method, maybe the most efficient method of comparing and merging documents, Mihai will walk you through an in-depth tutorial full of examples and use cases. But before Mihai starts his presentation, let me recap the useful information that you need to know when it comes to the Oxygen Live events. As always, all of our events are being recorded, so today's event makes no difference. After the webinar comes to an end, the recording will be made available on the event page on our site, oxygenxml.com, along with the slides and samples of Mihai's presentation, and also the recording will be uploaded on our YouTube channel titled Oxygen XML. Another important aspect is that as we go along, we encourage you to ask us questions by using the questions panel from the GoToWebinar interface, where Mihaela Kalotescu and Christian Talo will assist us by answering to all of your questions in real time. So, with this being said, let me say hi to Mihai Kwanda and wish him good luck as he enters the stage. Hello, Mihai.
Hello everyone, thanks Alim for the presentation. Okay, uh, I will try to present you the diff and merge tools that we integrated in, that we make available through WebAuthor. Okay, so in today's agenda, I will try to present you how we use this tool in our internal workflow. I will talk about the three-way merge and in what cases you benefit from it, how you can resolve conflicts, and how you can create a history viewing content management system. So we can get started. Um, as you know, the monitoring of changes in documents are highly important when we implement a feature that should be presented in our user guide. Basically, our authoring team creates a new topic or makes changes to existing topics, and once they commit those changes on our user manual, we have a bot that automatically comments on the Jira issue, as you can see in the screenshot, and we can see that the changes they have made are accurate. As we are software developers, we have a rough time explaining things in a user-friendly approach. So we have to confront those changes that they are accurate. Um, Another use case that we use internally is if we directly make changes to a file, to an existing topic. For example, we see something that can be improved in our user manual. We use the edit link to open the topic in WebAuthor, and we We make several changes. I will make, I don't know, some random changes. I will not commit them. And before committing those changes, we want to make sure that only important things are getting committed. So we compare the changes that we just made to prevent something wrong to get on the user guide. Once we review the changes, we can commit them and our colleagues will review them later. Okay. Um, I will try to explain what three-way merge is. Basically, any evolving document uh, has some history steps. Before, the changes were kind of linear. Basically, this was encountered when you had the block-based system or check-in, check-out of the document, so no two users could edit the same document in the same time. But once tools like Git became more popular, it was pretty common that two users opened the same version of a file, but they made changes separately. In this case, let's say that I will try to make a small demo on it. Let's say we have this file. I'm opening it and start making some changes. Okay, let's say I delete this and um, compared to the base revision, let's say I added this entry. Okay. But before I get the chance to save the changes, one of my colleagues, let's name him John, opens the same document and he also makes some changes. Okay. Let's say that he adds this entry, the queen. I already did this prior to avoid losing the time. So we are in this situation right here. We both started with revision A, the initial state of the document, but we started editing the document separately. The main issue with the prior comparing way was that you can if John saves the document before me, when I will try to compare my changes with the latest from the repository, something like this would appear. This one is added by me. This appears to have been removed by me, just as this one. And the queen and king appears that I have changed the queen entry with the king entry. This issue is solved by using the three-way merge. Basically, we compare each of the two revisions, mine and John's, with the starting point, revision A. So once we do this, things start to make more sense. As I can now make the difference between things that I removed, like this paragraph right here, and John added. And we can see that we both added an entry in the same place. I added the king entry and he added the queen. So in order for me to correctly merge this, I can add his changes to the document and now save it. This, comparing to the initial approach, I would have overridden John's changes because they looked, it was like they were, all the changes were made by me. I deleted those entries and changed them, but taking the base into account, the merge is much more accurate. So now I can commit my changes, and the final document is as it should be, to contain both my changes and John's. This is one of the conflicts that can appear when two users edit the same file simultaneously. And another use case would be when you use a Git repository and you work on different branches on the same file. Before merging the changes, everything needs to be correctly merged. So this merge tool, compare and merge tool, is very helpful when you try to track the history of a file. We use this tool in our our product Content Fusion. As you can see, this is a history view, and I can check what changes were made at each step of the document's evolution. Basically, this integration is made by computing an URL for the web author, in which you'd have to pass the current document URL, the other document URL that you are trying to compare it with, and if it is necessary, diff base URL. You can either make just a simple comparison without editing, or if you want to edit the current version, you can pass it this diff type URL parameter with the value merge, and it will work as I just did here. The diff is automatically recomputed, and you can save the changes after this. Okay, let's take a. I made a simple example of another history view. Let's take a look of one of the files from our user manual's history page. And I created the JavaScript that makes these buttons compare this revision with the one prior to that, just to demonstrate how you can achieve this. Once you have a list of all the versions of a file, you can compute these web author URLs to create it. This is achieved by a simple JavaScript file as you can see, most of this code is related to the GitHub's UI. All the diff generating URL is done in a single function in which we pass the URL of each files. Okay. Basically, I don't know, you can fully control the entire interaction by these URL parameters, besides the ones already presented that are the basic URL parameters required for this. You can even set labels for the left editor and the right editor. I did this in this example. I have a URL parameter that sets the title for this part, for the left editor part, and another one for the right one. Sorry. Okay, we can break down this URL quite simple. Basically, you just have to, once you have the base WebAuthor URL, you just add the combination of URL parameters that suits your needs. For example, we have the URL parameter, the diff URL, the left editor, and right editor. Basically, I don't know, this is the major points of this new tool. We integrated it in several parts of the WebAuthor, and anyone can, once you have a WebAuthor instance and the diff plugin installed, with just a simple computation of an URL, you can embed it as links or create an interface with this. Okay, I have attached some resources from our documentation, from the integration topic of the user manual that better presents each URL. And we have a video that shows how the merge tool works. And I think this kind of concludes my presentation. If anyone has any questions on it or something that I might have skipped.
Thank you, Mihai. We are still waiting to see if our audience members have any questions regarding your presentation. Let me take a quick control.
Sure.
Just to remind our audience that if you want to see the recording of Mihai's presentation, you can find it along with his sample files and slides on the event page. And if you have any comments or questions regarding the presentation afterwards, you can write to us directly by using the Oxygen feedback commenting platform found at the bottom of this same page. Let's see if any questions are asked. Nothing as of yet. So let me jump and tell you something about our upcoming events because with the release of version 24.0 of our suite of products, we also scheduled a series of 6 events, and Mihai's presentation constituted the second of this series, and we will continue on November 10th with working with data in Oxygen. Quick start with the Data Starter project. As you might know, Oxygen XML Editor provides the ability to organize your data resources in projects, and the data sample project is a best practice example that shows how data content can be organized to provide a scalable and flexible project structure. Now going to November 17th, we will have the new Oxygen compare and merge scripts. And in this webinar, we will cover in detail this newly implemented scripting support, as well as showing you examples on how to use it efficiently. We won't be stopping here, as we will also be taking a look at how you can integrate it with Oxygen XML editor. Going further, on November 24th, we will have working with data in Oxygen, migrating to data and refactoring. And to show you how this process can be made as simple as possible, Cosmin Duna will cover the following topics: how to use the batch documents converter and smart paste for converting content, and how to use the main file support for refactoring across the entire project. And our last scheduled webinar as of yet, it will take place on December 8th. Add-ons you can use for technical writing. A lot of people are waiting for this last webinar, because in this event, we aim to take a deeper look at some of the most popular add-ons that are available and at the types of benefits they provide, how easy it is to install them, as well as offering some ideas for how they can be integrated into your particular authoring workflow. With this being said, I see that there are still no questions coming in for Mihai. So I think that we can consider that we reached our the end of our event. So let me thank Mihai again for the information that he was kind enough to share it with us. And of course, I am incredibly grateful to you all for joining us again on another Oxygen Live event. And until next time, stay safe and have a nice day or evening. Bye-bye.